What do you think led you to not having that state of depression? Like, what was it? Circumstances? What happened exactly?
Yeah, there was circumstances going on back at
Mm-hmm.
home that were messing up with me. Like I was going through a lot, a lot.
So you beat yourself up?
You don't even have to beat yourself up. It beats you up.
Simon says.
Simon says.
Simon says.
Simon says.
It's the Simon Says podcast.
Let me ask you, when you were a house help, how was that experience for you? Was it good? Was it bad overall? Like, how was that experience for you?
As far as working was concerned, I didn't mind. I was used to work from a very young age. I love working. I'm a
How old were you this time
19,
as a house help?
18, yeah,
1918.
20, yeah, 20. I had just
That Form 4 period.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was used to working throughout my childhood. Like I have been exposed to work, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the experiences that were not that pleasant. Did not have to do with
Mm.
working because I am a fan of working. It's about now the things happening with the bosses and all that.
Mm. Who's
That's the
meaner?
part.
Who's meaner? Let me ask you. When it comes to being as household, who's meaner, the guy or the woman? In the household, who's usually the one who you have to like guide
You know what? I am going to remain objective on that. Yeah,
and
not
say
that
and say what?
subjective. And say that sometimes even the house helps can be mean. Like you have
Ooh.
seen clips of house helps who have been left with very young babies and eat their food and abuse them and beat them. You have seen stories of these
Yeah,
house
we have
helps
seen
who
them.
have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
caught.
yeah.
Others like traffic their bosses' babies. These things have been
Ooh.
there. These are things that are happening. Like
What
there's
about your
others who
experience,
have drowned their own bosses in water and killed them.
guy?
Yeah, house girls
When
can
was
be mean.
Wow? And have you ever were you almost pushed to the limit where you wanted to be mean?
No, that's not in my personality. The thing about me is that it doesn't matter who I'm working for. I work
Mm-hmm.
it like it's like I'm working for me. If it's a kid, I grew up. I love kids. Like I
Mm.
grew up crazy about babies. I grew up babysitting. I raised neighbors' kids, so I love babies. There's no way I could ever harm anybody's child. And when I'm
Mm.
working, I'm at my best. So that's something I love. So I could never. I don't, and I've never understood that concept of people who do that. I could kill you for mistreating a child that is not even mine. I don't like to see people do.
Whoa. Yeah, but I see that, even I can see that, even like if you were to see publicly like someone's purely mistreating a child, I can
Oh
see how you would even
yeah,
stand up for that
yeah.
child.
I
Yeah,
could even scold you for mistreating your own children. Like I don't like people playing around with kids. Kids are not footballs to be played with.
but for example, in your experience as a working, how did you deal with mean bosses?
Mostly I work. There are some circumstances I don't even have the energy to deal with because if you can't find my worth in what I'm putting in as your
Hmm.
employee, there's some there's some things I don't like stay there and try.
What
I
did you
walk,
do? What?
especially if
You
you
just walked
demean
away.
me as a person. There's something
Uh-huh.
I can't stand, like if you demean me as a person because I'm a very principled person. So if you demean me as per my principles or the person I
Uh,
am or the things that I stand for, uh, those I don't really
mm,
compromise. I will just walk. I don't care. I don't care if
yeah.
I will sleep. I just walk. Like if you read my
What do
articles,
you?
like because I blog a lot. Mostly my blogs. article about my stories, writing some story, you know.
Like which one? Like which one? Go ahead, tell us now, so we can actually go.
like
Like what?
like I've wrote about life and times of a maid. That was my experience with one of the bosses. I wrote
Uh
another
huh.
one about mental health, because there was a time I suffered depression to the point where I was like,
This is when you were still a house help.
no, I guess I started depression started when I was in high school. I was going through a lot.
What?
So I
Uh
got
huh.
depressed from high school. I got stomach ulcers from high school. High
Let me
school
ask you,
was my
before
worst.
you go further. Before you go further, like what usually like what do you think led you to not having that state of depression? Like what was it, circumstances? What happened exactly?
Yeah, there was circumstances going on back at
Mm-hmm.
home that were messing up with me. Like I was going through a lot, a lot.
So you beat yourself up.
You don't even have to beat yourself up. It beats you up. The
Like,
circumstances blows you, give you some blows, proper blows.
mm-hmm.
You don't have to beat yourself up. It will beat you up for yourself.
Like it
Circumstances
would
will
do it
beat
for
you
you.
up for you.
It would do it
Yeah.
for you.
Before
Let me
you
ask,
know, you are knocked down to the ground. Yeah.
how did you now, you said you started from high school. When did you say you are
Yeah.
quote unquote out of it?
Actually, I had to do a lot of reading, listen to motivational things, therapeutic.
Uh-huh.
I would read therapeutic books like used by therapists, and
Mm-hmm.
talking. Let me tell you, talking is healing. The time I
Mm,
was hard hit by when I was hard hit by depression is
mm-hmm.
when I wouldn't talk, because I would feel guilty of talking about things that I'm going through, because I feel like when I'm talking like this, I'm exposing someone, and when it, especially when it's someone you love, it's
Mm.
hard, because you're trying to protect their image, even though that is ruining you. You feel like if you speak about this, people would think that the person who did this, or they're going to look at them in a
Mm.
bad way, but then deep inside you love them, and you know that it may not be that bad. They just may not know that what they're doing is hurting you so bad. It's hard. It's hard.
How long
Depression
how
is
long can you say you were in how long can you say you were in depression? How long?
let's say from 2018, no, 2008 to
Until
2000 and uh, when I actually like got
you can say
better from it, because depression it's a long term illness to fight with it. But
mm-hmm.
when I can really see that I got much better is in 2000 and around 2016.
8 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. And
around
all this time
2016.
and all this time, like okay, what did you do at 2016 that you could say, okay, like
I
what
didn't do
led you?
something like, all those 8 years were years of fighting for my mental health, like fought for
Mm.
my sanity, fought for my sanity. It was hell.
Mm. How are you?
So
Were you feeling
it was
alone?
a continuous. Yeah, I've been living alone like forever.
You're
It was a
you're feeling alone.
continuous. Yeah,
You're feeling
yeah.
alone. I'm
Hmm?
feeling alone. I'm saying feeling. I'm saying you're feeling alone, or
Feeling alone? No, being alone is not a problem to me, because I am a
no, I mean
loner generally.
during that time of depression. I'm saying during that time of depression.
Mm. Oh yeah, you
I'm
do
saying
feel alone, even if you're not alone, you feel alone. I was
mm,
literally alone. There was a point where my entire family were like against me. Like they had spread so much hatred amongst themselves.
Oh,
An entire extended family amongst themselves.
wow.
They came up with all these lies about me, all of them. So they poisoned
Mm.
each other against me, so that none of them wanted to have me around
Or be
them.
associated
So I
by
was
with you?
alone. Yes, I was alone in the entire world with no one, and
Mm.
it's crazy. That
Who
that's
did you
that's
like?
crazy.
That's intense. I mean, because even I'm wondering, like, when you
And no one
like,
like can you imagine you are alone in the world? No one, not even one of them sits down and says, "How can we all like be seeing all these things about?" I would love to hear her side of story. I would love to stay with this
mm,
person and see whether all these things being said are true. Like none of them. Like I tried, and I would they were if I try to reach out to one of them, seek like
mm,
help or understanding from them, they will pick the phone. I hate. There was a point in my life I hated phones because everybody had a phone
really?
now. If you
Uh
try
huh.
to reach out to this person, you know they had
Mm,
already they would had like built a guard against me. Like no,
mm-hmm.
I can't penetrate in through that wall to reach anybody. So like if I try to get to anybody and ask for help, they will ring each other.
Cut you off.
Everybody, an extended family, an entire extended family, and then they will
I
ring
see.
each other, and this will ring the other, and the other will ring
Mm,
the other, and they will tell them she has been trying. Then you'll be like, do not
oh,
let her anywhere. You do not allow her. Do not like I. And it
they kind of
hurt
like kick you
because
out. They kind of kicked you
I
out.
knew, yeah. And now what hurt most is that I knew that they knew the kind of a person I am. I'm not capable
Mm-hmm.
of anything they accused me of. Like all of them knew
Mm,
that I was innocent, but they wanted to make sure that they convinced themselves I was guilty of all these things,
their issues. I
so that
see. I
they would
see.
not have anything to.
It's the Someone Says podcast.